You are not solving the world's issues from your couch. The big picture you're obsessed with online is designed by agencies and think tanks to keep you frozen on your screen and away from your own life. And even though the big picture is where the powerful people who control the world operate, it's not where we are. And yes, I know the feeling. There is something righteous about standing up to the fat cats and saying, I see you on your super yacht. I'm not stupid, you know. I know what you're doing to us. You're not fooling me. But this is all that most of us do. Point out the big picture and little else. We'll listen to podcasts all day about men, women, relationships, geopolitics, and some endangered clam under the Arctic Sea that needs to be saved right now. You notice everything seems to have a sense of urgency out there, but never here in our own lives. And we'll refuse to lift our heads up from our screens to look at our lives. I think that constantly fighting this big picture online, feeling overwhelmed by it, and getting nowhere with it, is slowly demoralizing our spirits and making us lose hope. We're effectively screaming into space, and nothing is coming back. And if the movie Alien has taught me anything, it's taught me that in space, no one can hear you scream. And this is what social media seems to resemble for me anyway. It resembles the emptiness of space, wrapped up in a bit of color and noise, but still signifying nothing. I was once involved in a men's community many years ago, back when it was good, when guys who'd both lived life and read books would talk about their lives and their lived experience in the form of conversational YouTube videos. It was a good time. It was an intelligent time. They even mentioned the big picture quite a bit too. But here's the difference between how men spoke yesterday compared to how toddlers speak today. They also spoke about what's best for an individual man in relation to the big picture. That is, how am I going to live my life now? Me, Bobby. What ethical values am I going to inscribe on my own 10 commandments that serve me as the way I speak and act from this point on? Put another way, if the system is putting up roadblocks for me out there, how do I slalom around them while smiling? How might I change so that I complain less and enjoy more? And I don't see this now. It's not popular. Not many people talk like this. Why? Well, pragmatic discussions don't get attention on social media. Outrage with the mob does. Furthermore, I've found it baffling how we can have the courage to leave one bad relationship in our lives, but are unable to leave a herd of retards online. No one seems to like discussing the small picture of themselves. You know, empiricism, ethics, what they want, what I want, and who I am. Every coward out there seems to want the world to change before they will. And their excuse for this is that they don't want to be taken advantage of. Every reasonable suggestion one tries to offer these brittle toddlers is met with a meme at worst or a clever academic word salad at best. They come off as the intellectual version of a spoilt rich kid with a well-rehearsed vocabulary, machine gunning at you in an Andrew Tate style, ready to justify why they don't need to ever consider anything. Ever. No. Somehow they were fully formed as a human being at the age of 18. The obtuse vocabulary from most of these online midwits just amounts to can't win, so why try? And even if we do acknowledge how much the system is against all of us and how careful we might need to be, it's almost impossible to make them see any other alternative than their own. Reasonable perspective seems gone with them. It's a rigid conspiracy theorist type of mindset where you'd like to discuss the very real things they know a lot about, but they also refuse to take their tinfoil hats off. It's hard to have a serious conversation with these clowns. And I think the big picture is also a type of security blanket for them, like their tinfoil hats. So they don't have to look at the small picture of their lives. That is to say, their more beautiful personal lives. Their picture. Because that then begs the question, who am I? And this is very confronting for someone who's only ever known the safer question of who are they? I think what troubles me the most today is that the constant hyper-focus on the never-ending procession of big world problems that we can never seem to solve, by the way, just demoralizes us every week. For all our podcasts, comments, polls, and manifestos, nothing ever changes. Just think about the resulting lowering of our collective self-esteem as individuals, as all of our screaming into the online void amounts to absolutely nothing. This really can't be overstated. Each of us going red in the face, looking at our phones, effectively just floating in space and hitting send and going red over and over and over again. I think we've been conditioned into big picture addicts while conveniently ignoring the small picture of our own lives. And as a result, we gradually become more and more invisible, even to ourselves. I don't know about you, but I've never liked being manipulated, used, or told what to do just for the benefit of others. Because I know that the apex predators of the world, the ones in control of the big picture, are much, much smarter than the majority of us TikTokers and YouTubers. I've always had a sneaking suspicion that they're happy for you to feel smarter than the Punch and Judy show that they show you in the big picture. Because it keeps our egos inflated on the couch and eating ice cream. And by the way, as if they're hiding what they're doing anyway. They literally just go out there in public, dressed in their finest suits, and they do the stupid thing for everyone to see, and here you are, thinking you're Sherlock Holmes, scratching your nuts on the couch, saying, "I've solved the case, Watson." No. They're making us idiots feel smart by design. This is exactly where they want us, because the prices still go up, and all we can do is write another pat yourself on the back online post about the dumb thing they just did again. There are many advanced level psychological tactics used in combat, ones where you use the opponent's naivety and momentum to beat them. Just as corporations have entire departments of lawyers to deal with little old you, so too do countries and nations have entire departments of think tanks to manipulate us sheep on the internet. They are playing 8 chess games ahead of us in a geopolitical way. Not 8 moves ahead of us, but entire games ahead of us. Ahead of us, TikTokers and cat video watchers. While we play our first grade checkers in the comment section and pat ourselves on the back for being smart. No, my friend. We are not as smart as they make us think we are. Think about it. How often do leaders do something in the news that seems obviously stupid? Almost handing stupidity to us on a silver platter, designed to elicit feel-good endorphins in us, where we feel so good in comparison to rich and powerful douchebags that we get high on the feel-good hormones and say, see how dumb the rich are? I'm glad I'm not one of them. Yep. And they want you to feel that way. They want you to be smug and self-righteous, thinking it's better to be in your clever ghetto rather than in their dumb penthouse. I look back at the first indication of this chess move that they were playing, and it was to push the feminists to the front of the queue. Told them they could have the world as they aggravated the shit out of everyone. Then, one after another, pushed all their other multicolored counterparts to the front of the queue as well. Now, all the sane adults are at the back of the line, and they don't run everyday life like they used to anymore. The person that runs society now resembles an insecure child, and I don't like it. Why? Well, because I don't like children. I'm sick of debating intentionally obtuse idiots and smugly throw away 300,000 years of evolution just because it's insensitive, even if it's true, or because some government-funded social studies said so, and Becky got triggered. Fuck Becky and your study. Because when people stop being civilized, and yes, the irony of me swearing just now is not lost on me, but when we stop thinking and speaking in a civilized way, when the adults cannot hear or be seen anymore, then the adults submit or leave, and almost every time the adults just choose to leave. And again, the big picture people at the top know this. They count on this. But what else is a sane adult to do when you're on a sinking ship full of lunatics? You leave. Just look at how many people are leaving their once beautiful cities now after having them overrun by animals. Einstein would not stay in a chimp enclosure. He would leave. And while these big picture issues are very real and important, we need to stop swinging at the big picture with all the other chimps out there. All the time. We have to slow down or stop, because that's what the system wants you to keep doing. I understand the impulse. You think if you solve the world, if you break that big dam, then the flood of benefits will pour down on you and everyone else like a refreshing waterfall. And you can say, I called it, all that big picture effort was worth it. But do you realize just how impotent your life is when the only power you have is to shake your fist at the world online? If your main hobby is to spend the day getting angry at the comment section, then you're nothing more than a spectator at a football match, yelling at players and referees who are actually on the field. You are not. You've probably heard the axiom that human beings are social creatures, right? Well, newsflash, Cupcake. We need a tactile feeling of involvement in our own world, in our own lives, to stay sane and humbled and fulfilled. Having skin in the game helps a lot. So here's my humble advice on all of this. Severely reduce your big picture focus, eliminate its importance entirely if you can, and increase your small picture focus much, much more. Unsubscribe from drama-filled channels. Stop watching what trailer trash does. Who cares? Move out of the intellectual ghetto, and it's not just entertainment. It's conditioning you. It's annoying you. You are watching idiots and you are becoming one. And look, big picture stuff has its place. It's fun to have something to talk about at barbecues. We break the ice with chit chat. I understand. It's healthy to be generally informed. I know that. It's intellectually interesting. But please, for the love of everything that is good, for the love of Predator, Rambo, and Aliens, please tend to the small picture of your own life first. Protect it, cultivate it, find it worthy, find it interesting. Obsess over that small picture of your life above everything else. Be proud of that inch that is only yours. Be selfish about it. It's all you really have. Otherwise, you are forever mowing the lawns of rich people with your attention while weeds grow at home. Tend to your little machine, not their monstrosity. Because if you do that, you don't have to fight their machine anymore. It just stops working on you. And so I'll leave you with this. We naively feel that if we can slay the big monsters on the news, then the ones under our bed will go away. They won't. All you're doing is avoiding looking under your bed and making the boogeyman disappear. The small picture is the only picture worth looking at. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.